In You've Been Trumped, we exposed the true human and environmental cost of Donald Trump's golf course on one of the United Kingdom's last stretches of coastal wilderness. A Dangerous Game is born out of the first film, You've Been Trumped. We showed that film in cinemas and then it was on the BBC.
You've been detained under Section 14 of Criminal Procedure Scotland Act 1995. Don't you do that to me!
We found very much in showing it in communities, in a cinema setting, people would come up after the film and say, we've got the same thing happening here. It wasn't always Donald Trump. I mean, I did the screening in Dubrovnik in Croatia where the local residents came up afterwards and said, you know, we'd love you to investigate what's happening here. We're fighting an Israeli billionaire who's wanting to build a massive golf resort for the super rich overlooking a UNESCO protected city. And it makes no sense to us and we're going to fight these plans.
Danger, golf development. So yes, I believe you are quite dangerous.
All these communities have one thing in common. They have these plans unfolding which they feel powerless to object to. The Trump organization refused to be interviewed in You've Been Trumped, but in this second film, when they heard that I was going to be making it, they called me up out of the blue and said, we'd like to have a meeting. And that opened a door which had been firmly shut before. There's a moment in the film where he says your documentary got carried by the BBC and others, so you become a much more important person. And it's a bizarre comment to make, really. He suddenly felt that he had to take it seriously because You've Been Trumped was carried by the BBC, and I think he realised that this film was probably likely to be on television as well.
You've Been Trumped is a true story.
You will not be seeing this gentleman on The Apprentice anytime soon.
Caused a lot of concern among the environmentalists and is the subject.
And I'm sure even my answers will be cut short and will be highly inaccurate. That's why I have a camera watching us, because I want that for, obviously, for certain reasons.
We worked very hard to give the other side a say in this film. I mean, we tried very hard to get an interview with Alex Salmond, for example. We had 2 interviews set up, we had the cameras booked, they were cancelled at the last minute. At one stage we had a request from Mr. Salmond's office to run a full interview in the film, unedited. And I mean, anybody who's been to the cinema would know that that's impossible. So, inevitably, if those people will not come on and be interviewed, you have to run a graphic saying that they declined to be interviewed. There's nothing else you can do. The main focus now is to try and get this film out, because without that, we then have a film which sits around and nobody can see. And so we're crowdfunding now to try and get us to the next stage, which is to get the film out to a cinema audience and then hopefully on television as well. And that's going to be my job for the next few months. So if people want to find out more about crowdfunding our film, you can find out more at adangerousgame.org is the website.